because they're going to try everything in their power, and perhaps even something violently and militarily, if they need to stop this from happening. They got to keep, as George Bush called it, the trifecta. That is the House, the Senate, and the judiciary, as well as the White House. All that power going to the White House. Now, I got to tell you something, folks. I've been doing this a long time. I spent 8 years being called an American-hating liberal because I oppose the draconian policies, I'm a freedom activist, of the Bush-Cheney administration.
Yeah.
They talk a good game, don't they? Well, so do the Democrats. They talk a good game. They want to help people. I want to just empower you to help yourselves. I want you to help each other. Hey, well, funny thing happened on the way to the central bank. I kept 50% of my money that normally I ship off in one shape or form or another, and I was able to donate to charities, to help people, to use it in the way, shape, and fashion that helps me in my neighborhood, in my town, and in my city. And therefore, I became an example to California. Now I don't have to bail out California, which is exactly what they're about to ask you to do.
Yeah.
If that tax isn't enough, they're putting a VAT tax on you. All of this to pay for Obama healthcare perestroika. And folks, I want you to understand that's what this is. They told us this was happening. Gorbachev, all of them, they told us this was going to happen. That the fall of the Soviet Union would spread this wonderful socialism all around the world. Again, to help people, it's for the children. Yeah, right. Break my children, enslave my children, make them indentured servants. No child will be left behind.
At least mine's got a birth certificate.
So it is perestroika, folks. Perestroika only meant reform, and that's what they've called this crazy healthcare bill. A lot of people oppose this because of the money. We don't have it. But what about the freedom? That's why they're hiring these IRS agents. That's why they're putting out any kind of way to find out everything you do to make sure you're in the right bracket so they can help you. And I got some bad news for those of you who believe in the fair tax. The fair tax is about, well, let's say the Patriot Act is patriotic. I mean, this is the duplicity, the duality, the doublethink that we constantly get. Free trade means it's wonderful and it's free. See, all these things mean the opposite.
True speak.
Opposite. It's opposites, actually, if you want to get into it. That they pretend to be the opposite, but they're really the same. So in order to find every little thing you're doing, what you're buying, what you're selling, and by the way, a lot of that going cashless, this country moving in, giving its authority to the IMF, that happened at G20. They announced that just not too long after. The head of the European Union, the new president, the puppet president of the European Union, what did he say? He said, that's it. This is one world government. Thanks to the G20 and the Copenhagen summit, this is one world government. We're ushering it in 2009. They think we're crazy because we repeat that stuff that they constantly say? No, the inmates are running the asylum, as I often say. It sounds seductive. Anything seems better, right, than the IRS at this point. But why do we have to go from one bad thing to the other? I'm telling you, folks, on this fair tax thing, be very careful, because they're going to want to know everything that you do. Again, everything you buy and sell, they're going to have to keep track of that electronically. Everything you do is going to be the business of the government when they get there, and I have a strong feeling that's right where they're trying to hurt us. So be very careful about that. Think for yourselves. That is the most important thing. And as regarding our so-called de facto government, regarding the state-run media that does their bidding, all of them, again, owned by the same coterie of these Federal Reserve bankers, which right now we're trying to audit, get in their books, and end forever. All of these guys, what they're going to say is that what we're doing is somehow violent. This is violent rhetoric. That somehow we want to bring this country down. They're always focusing that we're anti-this, we're anti-that. You get people out saying, well, I'm going to be civilly disobedient. Good for you. I'm going to be constitutionally obedient. And that's what we want these guys to do in this house with Minerva on the top. Constitutionally obedient. Don't volunteer for it. They got to have you go along with it. or they can't do it. They got to sell you, trick you, condition you into it, or they can't do it. You stand to yourself, you talk to your neighbors, and you make it happen. But I want to send a message to the Rachel Madcows and the Keith Obamamans and all of these henchmen, water carriers, and matrix moles working to push through this fascism and this communist agenda. I want to put a message to them, and I want to quote somebody that they say they have respect for. That person is John F. Kennedy, who I believe was shot by the bankers. Today, this day, Abraham Lincoln died, shot by the bankers. That's what they'll do. As Bill Hicks used to say, once the guy becomes president, they take him back into the little room, they show him the picture of the JFK assassination from the grassy knoll, and they ask, any questions? The president says, yeah, just what's my agenda? Attack Iraq again. But this is the message to you, and I'll leave you with this. And this is what JFK said, and he meant it. He said, if you suppress the people in a peaceful revolution, you invite the violent revolution. So the onus is on you. You listen to the people. We are the people. We are the government, not you. This is our country. This is our state. We're taking it back. Stay bold.